Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Now, I don't know if you guys are noticing, but 2021 is becoming the year of the red pill. Red pills are being passed to the masses. Whether it's Joe Biden's failure in Afghanistan, the southern border, the strong push against critical race theory in schools and indoctrination of children, we continue to see a trend of enlightenment that people are finally waking up, and probably one of the biggest red pill moments. And the Kyle Rittenhouse trial is adding on to all of it. People accepted a mainstream narrative. They were completely misled on what the actual facts were about this case. They were told to believe that it somehow had something to do with race. They were told to believe that the individual involved in this case was a white supremacist. And now the media is continuing to tell them that somehow the verdict has created this era of open season on minorities. And as the media continues to double down and continues to lie, we're seeing what always happens when they overplay their hand. People are waking up to a degree that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. The year 2021 is the year of great cultural enlightenment as people realize the media is full of shit. So let's cover another red pill moment, this time involving Destiny, a leftist political live streamer who had a very interesting interaction, to say the least, with another far leftist on the facts of this case. Let me show you guys what happened, but before we get into any of it, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. And with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so let's just lay the groundwork. Just take a look at this.
Hold on. First of all, Kenosha was not having a problem with policing, okay? The man that was shot by the cops and paralyzed, absolutely, that was, the cops were 1,000,000% in the right, okay? It's not even remotely debatable.
The dude who got shot like 7 times in the back?
Absolutely, yeah, 100%, absolutely in the right. Problem is, the problem is that people like you, Vivian, and other people on the left that have these huge ideological narratives don't even bother to look at the facts of the case. The reason why 2 people are dead in the Rittenhouse riots is directly because of people like you that stoke the flames and get people upset about policing in the United States over cases where the police were 100% in the right. You are engaging in a form of stochastic terrorism when you are on here stoking these flames, just as much as somebody like Lauren Southern does. I need you to understand that you are the exact same type of person. You are exactly the same as her. I need you to understand that, Vivian. You are exactly the same as somebody like Lauren Southern when you're on here stoking the flames. 100% you are.
Okay,
Amen.
well, whenever you're done on your podium, Destiny.
On my podium? You're here all night on your podium. Come on, dude. You don't even know the facts of any of the cases relevant to this, and you're here arguing your breath out over whether he was in the right or wrong.
Are you done yet? The BLM riots were not specifically about any one shooting.
The rioting in Kenosha was specifically about this.
The rioting in Kenosha was triggered by the shooting of Jacob Blake.
Yes.
Yes. However, right, it was part of a nationwide movement.
Shut the You're lying. You're lying. The riots here specific. Yes, you are lying. Yes. Well, okay. Maybe you're not lying. You might be an idiot. Okay.
Even people on the left side of the political spectrum are realizing that leftists have absolutely lost their minds. They are completely disconnected from reality. It is nearly impossible to have a discussion with people like this. Of course, I don't agree with Destiny on a whole lot of issues, and I'd probably say the same thing when it comes to Bill Maher or Jon Stewart type liberals, but at least you could have a discussion. At least you could discuss the facts. At least you could have a rational dialogue on the facts, on reality. But there is a certain segment of the leftist population, so to speak, that actively rejects evidence, facts, data, individuals where dogmatic belief and culture war stances take priority over everything. Folks, it took nearly a year to get leftists to finally admit that Kyle Rittenhouse was the one being chased rather than the one chasing. For the last year and a half, as people have been covering this situation, people have actually believed incredible mistruth. We've heard rhetoric that Kyle Rittenhouse just shot into a crowd, that the 3 individuals that he shot were black, that he was somehow the aggressor, or little things here and there that the gun was illegal, or that he brought it across state lines. And while it's one thing to get something wrong, it's another to repeatedly lie for over a year, to have the facts right in front of you, have them presented, then have them presented in a court, which when presented to a randomly selected, impartial jury, they come to a unanimous decision of not guilty based on the facts. It's a whole other ballgame when leftists have seen the whole thing play out in front of them, and they continue to spread this misinformation and all of these lies. They continue to believe it. It's almost like that South Park episode where you lie so so many times that you start to believe your own lies. It's hard to tell if these people are purposely, maliciously lying, or it's some sort of progressive bubble delusion where they're living in some sort of alternate reality. I mean, for Pete's sakes, The Independent, a massive, supposedly credible organization, actually releases this story that I showed you guys just the other day. Kyle Rittenhouse cleared of murder after shooting dead 2 Black Lives Matter protesters. Full story, teenager who shot 3 black men with a rifle, found not guilty on all charges. It's a level of delusion that is just unbelievable. And people with common sense, people who are looking at this honestly, people who might be standing on the political left, are looking at individuals around them probably doing a little bit of a 360 pan around the room and saying, what is wrong with these people? How can these people who are supposed to be my political compatriots get it so wrong, so badly, all of the time, and seemingly intentionally? I mean, for Pete's sakes, imagine being a CNN watcher. I mean, I can't exactly imagine it, but imagine it just for a second for the sake of conversation. You have been watching CNN cover this Kyle Rittenhouse thing since the start. You've followed the whole story. They have repeatedly lied, misrepresented the facts of the case, and omitted key evidence. And then all of a sudden, after Kyle is acquitted on all charges, and CNN is now in the firing line, within the crosshair view of a massive, and I mean massive, defamation lawsuit that's probably already being drafted, all of a sudden CNN drops these massive bombshells. Too little, too late.
We learned a lot of things in this trial that we should sort of go over, and I was just kind of reviewing some of the things that we learned in the trial that were not necessarily public knowledge before that. One, there has been a lot of talk, especially by politicians, about where Rittenhouse was the night of this shooting. And it turned out he was already in Kenosha, that he had family here, including his father, that the gun was here in Kenosha. He did not bring that over state lines. It turned out during this trial that we learned that the gun that he had a hold of, he actually could legally possess, according to the judge and according to the law here, because of the measurements of the gun. Had it been shorter and a short-barreled gun, then it would have been illegal, but because it wasn't, the judge said that that needed to be thrown out, and indeed, that charge of a minor in possession of a gun illegally was thrown out in this case. The jury only looking at those who were injured, those who were endangered, and those who were killed the night in August that Rittenhouse ended up shooting people. We also learned that he was working here that night, that he had stayed over that night here, and we saw some video of, for example, Joseph Rosenbaum, the first person that he shot and killed. We saw drone video, high-resolution drone video that did not come into this case until 5 days into this trial. But we did learn a lot of things from that video because it was very clear what was going on. There was a video of Rosenbaum chasing after Kyle Rittenhouse during this time when he had his gun, and at one point Rittenhouse levels his gun at Rosenbaum. Rosenbaum continues towards him, and as he gets close to Kyle Rittenhouse fires his gun several times. We learned also in the trial that he was hit 4 times, and obviously this is a AR-style rifle that has the capability of firing very quickly.
All of a sudden, what is supposed to be a reputable, massive corporation, massive network, one of the biggest out there, after the case wraps up, is like, oh, well, we forgot to mention literally all of these facts, and the fact that pretty much everything we've been reporting for years, or for a year rather, has been completely off base, completely wrong. How many times can CNN get away with this? How many times could they scream Russia, 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 and be completely wrong? How many times can they push ridiculous, bogus narratives with phony anonymous sources, and then turn out to be absolutely wrong? How can they cover one of the most high-profile cases in my generation for over a year, push for a guilty verdict, misrepresent all of the facts, and then when they're facing a potential lawsuit, oh well, we forgot to tell you guys that we've been lying for a year and a half, and here's what actually happened. And you wonder why leftists are severely misinformed, because they actually watch this stuff. They watch CNN, they watch MSNBC. I mean, CNN is smart enough to try to cover their tracks. MSNBC is doubling, tripling, quadrupling, and quintupling down, and in full fearmonger mode trying to convince people that somehow white militia members are going to be hunting you down in the streets from now on forth based on this legal precedent from the Kyle Rittenhouse case. But I refuse to believe that this is anything but a massive, and I mean massive, red pill moment for a whole lot of people. Now, red pills are handed out slowly. They slowly start to accumulate, but the trend that we're seeing is definitely rightward. I mean, people depended on CNN to get good coverage on this stuff, and they were once again completely misled and lied to. People who depend on fact checkers and fact checks to win Facebook and Twitter arguments have been using AP fact checks and PolitiFact fact checks, only to now be faced with the total hypocrisy and total embarrassment of situations like this occurring. Donald Trump stated on August 31st, 2020 in a media briefing that video shows Kyle Rittenhouse, a 17-year-old charged with killing 2 protesters in Kenosha, was trying to get away from them, fell, and then they violently attacked him, which PolitiFact on their truthometer rated as false, when it was unequivocally clear as day true. Leftist fact checkers, leftist pundits, leftist voters, and Twitter cave dwellers are literally living in an alternate reality where you can show them video evidence of a specific act occurring and they will see something else. I mean, it's not a Rorschach test. You're not staring at the clouds and looking at random shapes and different people are going to see different things. You're literally seeing events play out right in front of you. It should be as clear as day, but there's some sort of brain fog or some sort of twisted wiring in their brain or some sort of malicious, dishonest intent that causes them to view an alternate reality. And I don't know about you guys, but if I was a leftist and I was in any way being associated with all of the loons on the left side of politics, I would be absolutely ashamed and I'd be having a serious moment of introspection, otherwise known as the red pill. It's happening, friends. The culture war pendulum is swinging like never before. That's what I got for you guys, though. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share it as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm. I gotta get back to work, though. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.